please stand. Say the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please pause for a moment of silence. Seated. Can I get a roll call, please, for me?
Mr. Campion?
Here.
Mrs. King?
Here.
Mr. Herner?
Here.
Mr. American?
Here.
Mr. Schuler?
Here.
Mayor O'Brien?
Here. I'm going to read the Statement of Compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Pursuant to the requirement of the New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice filed in the office of the Borough Clerk, posted on the Borough website and on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Co-Star newspaper, and mailed to those requesting notice and providing payment in accordance with Borough policy. Which brings us to our approval of the agenda with one addition, resolution R 2016-96, correct? Which is a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a separation agreement. Right? Not at this time. And then, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Campion?
No,
We need a motion.
Motion second first, yeah.
I'll second Robert's motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, which brings us to the approval of the meeting minutes from the April 11th, 2016 executive session.
Mayor, we can do the two together.
Together? Okay. And combine that with the April 25th, 2016 regular session.
Make that motion. I'll second it.
Roll call?
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passes.
We don't have any presentation at this time. We do have a couple of scheduled public hearings. The first is on ordinance 2016-02, which is an ordinance amending section 9-2.1 entitled fees on recreational facilities. So this ordinance basically changes some of the fees for our rec department. What?
Motion to open the public hearing.
Yeah. Motion to open the public hearing?
I'll second it.
If anybody wants to come up and speak on...
Mayor,
gotta vote
excuse me,
no.
I'm going to do a roll call on that.
Oh, hey,
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
I'm trying to
Mrs.
move along
King?
too fast.
Yes.
Sorry.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Aye.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes.
Excellent. So now, if anybody would like to come up and speak on that particular ordinance, please come forward and do so. If not, then can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passes.
The next scheduled public hearing is...
Oh, now we need-
Oh, no. Now we can hear on the ordinance.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to hear.
What?
We don't have to hearing on the budget again, this is just a vote, we did the hearing last.
Yeah.
We need to take a vote though
On
on...
the first, can we vote, can we get a vote on the,
I'll make a motion to adopt the order.
there you go.
I'll give a second on that.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
All right, the second thing on the public hearing was the vote on the resolution 2016-82, which is a resolution of the Borough Council authorizing amendments to the 2016 municipal budget prior to adoption.
I'll make that motion. Second.
No, this is,
Motion to open the public hearing.
we have, these are the, yeah, the budget itself is a separate item. We're going to vote on that first.
2 weeks ago, we have to do 2 sets of hearings.
We're gonna-
There, at the meeting 2 weeks ago, we held the hearing on the budget as it was introduced. We were not able to move forward on the formal adoption of the budget as the state had not released it for approval. Additionally, the state required that we make a couple of minor amendments. The amendment was approved at the last meeting, subject to a public hearing on the amendment tonight. And that's where we are at this stage, which is the hearing on the amendment. To remind the council, the amendment includes the addition of 3 items of revenue regarding grant funds that have now been received. We were also required to make an adjustment in the amount to be raised from taxes as a result of recalculation of the reserve for uncollected taxes. Those are reflected in the current fund amendment. The second amendment is an amendment to the open space trust budget, and that was specifically to reflect the revised anticipated level of revenues from the dedicated open space tax. So at this time, it is appropriate to have the public hearing on that amendment, after which, assuming the amendment is adopted, we would then proceed with adopting the budget as amended.
But no hearing on the budget, that's done. That was my confusion. Understood, thank you. Okay, I'll make a motion to open the hearing on the amendment.
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passes.
If you would like to come and speak about the amendment to the budget, please come forward and say your piece. Seeing no hands, can I get a motion
I'll make that
to
motion.
close the public
Second
hearing?
Robertson.
Mr. Campion? Mrs., sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Campion?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passes and public's closed.
Now we need a motion to pass the budget as amended.
And Mayor, just along those lines, distributed to the council is a revised worksheet with blue cover that reflects those amendments. And to make it easy, you'll see that the specific amendments have been highlighted by the little dark box to the left of each of the appropriation figures for 2016.
I'm going to make a motion to approve the budget.
I'll second that motion.
And that is Resolution R 2016-88, adopting the 2016 municipal budget as amended. And I'm sorry, can I have that motion and second again?
Motion, Robinson.
Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Jay and Chris, for all your hard work on putting that budget together.
Thanks to everyone. That was a good team effort. Exhausting. Part of planning is you have to keep looking ahead. We're not done.
That brings us to our public comment section on agenda item only. If you have something you'd like to speak about that's on the agenda, please come forward, state your name and address, and address the chair. Seeing no hands, I would like to get a motion to close.
I'll make that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The discussion items, we have a couple of items for discussion. The first one is regarding the traffic light installation Old Mill Road and Warren Avenue and the agreement between the County of Monmouth and Borough of Spring Lake Heights. So, go ahead, Jay.
There's just a couple of things to bring to the council's attention. First of all, this is a culmination of, I guess, several years' worth of efforts. I know Council President King, as Chair of the Public Safety Committee, has been involved in coordination and discussions at the county level for the installation of this traffic light. We are now to the stage where the county has presented us with this agreement. Essentially, the two most significant aspects of this contract provide that once the traffic light is installed, it becomes the borough's responsibility to pay for the electric service moving forward. The other component here, and unfortunately, you will note that this contract was received on Friday from the county. We have put out a call. One aspect of this is that the county is requiring that the borough provide and pay for all costs related to any traffic control or police during the time of the construction. Unfortunately, they have not provided us with an estimate as to how much time is involved. That could be fairly significant, but in any event, this information is presented to the council this evening. We expect that by the time we list this for formal action at our next meeting, we'll have at least some estimate from the county as to how many days of construction would be involved in this. This is, although it's what would seem on the surface to be a fairly simple process to install a traffic light, this project will include the relocation of utility poles, both by Jersey Central as well as Bell Telephone, so we have Verizon, two entities there. It will also involve relocation of underground utilities, including the borough's water, sewer, and stormwater service. And then the final component is a relocation of gas lines. So once all that happens, then the installation will take place. So it is still in the future. The last word we had is that it was anticipated that during the summer quarter into the fall months, that this would be ready for construction.
I have two questions. I don't know if you can answer them. Item 7, that we provide establishment of the electrical service and we're responsible for maintaining and future costs. Is that standard?
It is my
I believe
understanding.
we pay on the other signals as well.
That is correct, that is correct.
Okay, on item 9, it says that we agree to maintain the roadway pavement within our jurisdiction. It cannot be construed in any way, shape, or form because obligated for county road if this is being put on.
Well, my reading of this is that it's within its jurisdiction, meaning the borough's jurisdiction.
Okay.
In this case,
That would just be Old Mill Road, right?
Warren, the old mill portion is the borough's responsibility, and we do expect that there will be some traffic indicating equipment that's placed in the pavement of the roadway, and that's the restoration that they're going for.
Okay.
On behalf of the police department and Chief Petrick and I would also like to address item number 10, which says that the borough further agrees to provide at its own expense uniformed officers to direct traffic during emergency repairs, et cetera, et cetera. This is a very, very big issue. And in talking to the chief of police, he says that we do not have the amount of funds to pay for this project and supply our men on that kind of a basis. So this is another item that is going to be discussed with the county.
Who discusses that?
I mean, wait, were our police, and was that cost ours to take on when, for instance, they did some of the other lights in town, like they, I mean, I know it was
We
many
don't
years
know.
ago. We don't know. We don't have records of like when they put the
Well,
Atlanta
that's
Road
what the
light.
what the chief is
Oh,
trying
no.
to do is he's trying to go back through the records and see if he can find anything that was not under his watch. So if there's anything documented or not, but he said that we need to look into that.
No, that was only a couple of years ago. Old Mill Road was what, 4 years ago, so certainly David was here.
No, he was not the chief.
Was it, Steve's one?
Steve's was, yes.
Okay, well, but here's, we certainly don't want to kill a traffic deal for police working a safety and traffic detail. I mean, whatever the cost is, I mean, it's great if you can negotiate with the county
Well,
to
that's
do
what
that, but certainly not a deal killer, in my opinion.
No,
We need
it's
to
not,
allow-
it's not gonna be a deal killer, but it's got to be negotiated because we didn't plan for any of this in our budget.
Yeah, well, we don't even know, what I'm saying is, we don't know this a week, 2 weeks, 3 days, we don't know.
Projected is supposedly projected, it's a couple of months.
Yeah, but to put a traffic light in?
From
Well, I
start-
think they come
from
in for
start to
like a
finish.
day. It's not, certainly not 2 months' work on a traffic light.
I think it was all of the relocation that Jay was mentioning,
Yeah.
the gas
Yeah,
line.
well, I think you'll come in for an
telephone
hour a
poles,
day, on one day, 2 hours, or another day, over the course of that time. It could only be maybe 5 days total, 40 hours work, but over the course
I'm
of
not
3
sure, I'm
months.
really not
Because you have
sure.
all different entities coming in, but that's what I'm saying,
Because
so.
Dave said there was a lot involved, and that when Lair Road light went in, there was a lot involved with the time that people had to direct traffic. And we
Well,
have to
perhaps we
coordinate.
should look at what the cost would be for a private company to offer that service, because there are many alternatives with private companies doing traffic details.
Well, it's not that our police department doesn't want to do it.
No, I'm not saying that, but we should
But what I'm
relieve them
saying
of that
is
burden.
that
It's gonna be too much.
no matter what, we gotta pay, and we don't wanna have to put out something that we don't have. That's the concern, is that we don't have the funds.
I just don't want to put anybody at risk of an accident there based on dollars
No,
and cents for
but
that.
if we can get the county to pick up some of this, that
That's
would be a
good.
big
Yeah,
help.
if we can negotiate that, excellent.
I agree.
All right, that brings us to our mayor and council reports and announcements. We'll start with Councilman Herner.
Okay, Summer Camp 2016 runs from June 27th to August 5th, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon. The cost is $125 for residents, $165 for non-residents. There's an extended program which extends the program for a week from August 12th, 8th through 12th, Monday through Friday, and it's additional $50. Registrations start May 16th, Monday through Friday, Borough Hall, 9 a.m. to 4:30. And there's 3 registration evening dates for those that can't get there during the day. Thursday, May 26th at Borough Hall from 4 to 6 p.m. Tuesday, May 31st, Borough Hall, 4 to 6 p.m. And Wednesday, June 8th, Borough Hall, 4 to 6 p.m. Come early and all.
Thanks.
I have nothing at this time.
I have nothing, because all I was going to talk about was the traffic light.
That was good. Councilman Schuler? Councilman Americas?
I'll do the report.
All right. That brings us to our reports, notices, and correspondence. I'm going to start that with actually, you may have noticed around the town that Janine, well, that we've painted our town pink. It's a breast cancer awareness event that a lot of other towns in the area are involved in, but if you've seen it, there's a big Pink Lake Heights sign in front of the school. There's a lot of pink bows around. All the lights on the borough properties are pink, and Janine has done a great job coordinating that. That event will accumulate on Tuesday, May 24th at 6:30 p.m. at the community center. There will be a couple of guest speakers and refreshments available, and there will be prizes given out as well. So if you can come to that, the guest speakers are Dr. Dennis Johnson Miller will speak about, he's a medical director. Denise, not Dennis. She is the medical director of breast surgical oncology program for Meridian Health, and also Douglas Miller will also be speaking, who's a radiation oncologist. That event, again, is Tuesday, May 24th at 6:30 p.m. at the community center.
If anyone's interested in coming, we just ask, there's no fee to come, just call the borough office to register. We just want to track how many people we're going to have there.
So you can set up enough seats
Yes. Have enough.
and refreshments. All right.
Tom, if I can add to the cancer thing, one of the things about that's been going on with pink, and I hope everybody remembers it's for all cancers, because I know October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and for those who don't know, May is actually Pediatric Brain Cancer Month. So just remember that May is also gray for pediatric brain cancer, and I know this community has been shattered by quite a few families that have been hit hard by it, and I definitely don't want May to fall into the shadows of pediatric cancer to what's going on here, which is a wonderful thing, but I think we need to remember that all cancer sucks.
Good point.
And that's an official statement. You can
Yeah.
all cancer.
That's pretty technical.
I concur. All right, that brings us to, we've got a couple other public notices and correspondences. The first one is a public notice for the Borough of Spring Lake ordinance about amending the supplemental land use ordinance, which is 2016-003. That's in your packet. There's a planning board hearing notice for 2003-2005 Highway 71. There's a resolution in our packet regarding the Borough of Shrewsbury opting back into the Monmouth County Tax Board Assessment Demonstration Program. And basically, if you read through that, it basically said that there was a bunch of towns that opted out. The tax board heard their complaints, made changes that they thought it was worth going back in for, and so they went back in. There's also a Spring Lake Heights 2016 water and sewer utility revenue projection is in our packet, and then there's also one other thing, and I see Mr. Murphy is here. There's a letter from Thomas and Christine Murphy dated April 27, 2016 regarding a flood insurance issue. And there was also in your packet sort of a draft resolution that indicated that how we might sort of help them with their problem. I mean, Jay, do you want to speak a little bit about that, or?
I think the council that was here in the post-Sandy environment is aware of some of these issues related to the increased cost of compliance, which is a component of the flood insurance program that provides a reimbursable cost for homeowners above their flood insurance limits in those instances where municipal regulation requires that they retrofit or, in the case of Mr. Murphy, elevate their house. Specifically, under our current ordinance and under standard practice, a building which is substantially damaged, which is defined as being essentially when more than 50% of the value of the structure is damaged compared to its pre-flood value. That property has to be brought up to code in its entirety, and including for those homes that are located in the special flood zone areas, to be elevated. And that's the instance where Mr. Murphy is. He had what are referred to as repetitive losses, which neither Irene nor Sandy, as I understand it, met that 50% threshold, but collectively they did. And there are communities and requirements, or in some communities there is a requirement that the repetitive losses be used to calculate whether a property is subject to being brought completely up to code. In this local area, as Mr. Murphy has noted, Spring Lake has that included in its ordinance, and the ordinance that has been drafted for the council, in the event you wish to move in that direction, takes that same language of the definition of substantial damage and substantial improvement right out of the ordinance that in this area Spring Lake has adopted. Although to my knowledge, I don't believe any other communities in our immediate area are, although Mr. Murphy may have some additional information.
But yeah, if you look at that draft resolution, basically, there's a paragraph that describes what is substantial damage. Our current resolution includes the first sentence, but not the second sentence. The second sentence is what gets into the repetitive damage. I think we've also tried to potentially solve the issue by giving a letter that said, yes, the structure was substantially damaged, right, to his insurance company. And if that doesn't work, I mean, it would be my opinion that we somehow try to solve this problem, basically. That's my opinion. But anyway, so the draft resolution, we're not going to act on it tonight, but if you look at that, like I said, there's that substantial damage paragraph. The change that is being asked for is that second sentence.
It'll be on next meeting's agenda.
Yeah, I think we'll get some more time to review it. Gary wanted to see what Coded Systems was doing in other towns, right?
Well, they're working on bringing our ordinances up to date. And so if they've got something that they would normally do in this instance, we want to be consistent with that rather than doing something different than changing it again.
But do you think we'll have that all solved for next meeting?
Well, I see Coded Systems sitting in the back row here tonight, so I think I think we'll find something else.
Well, we have an answer for the thousands of consider.
All right. And that's what we have for reports, notices, and correspondence. We have no ordinance introductions, so that brings us to our resolutions. The first resolution is Resolution 2016-89, a resolution of the Borough Council requesting the Director of New Jersey's Division of Local Government Services approve an amendment to the borough's 2016 municipal budget.
If there's just to avoid or perhaps provide an explanation to avoid any confusion, this is what I would call a standard amendment that we would typically do throughout the year as grant funds become available.
Yeah.
The previous three that we adopted were done at that time because we had not yet taken formal action on the final adoption of the budget. But this is an additional grant, and you'll see these sporadically through the year, right up until December, as grant funds become available, either grants that we apply for or grants that we are awarded. In order to actually spend those funds, they need to be included in the budget by means of what is commonly referred to as a Chapter 159 amendment, which appropriates both it anticipates both the revenue and provides the appropriation in an equal amount. So these, although they do amend the budget, they do not amend or change the amount to be raised in taxes.
Which is a very important point.
I'll make the motion to approve the resolution.
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passes.
The next resolution is resolution number R 2016-90, a resolution of the Borough Council accepting the donation of a 2003 Ford Explorer vehicle from the Independent Fire Company number 1.
Motion on that?
I'll make the motion. Second it, I mean?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. Merrickin?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passed.
The next resolution is Resolution 2016-91, a resolution of the Borough Council approving the use of the community center.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. Merrickin?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passed.
The next resolution is Resolution number 2016-92, a resolution of the Borough Council approving a request for outdoor music permit.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Abstain?
Mr. Merrickin?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passes.
The next resolution is Resolution number 2016-93, a resolution of the Borough Council authorizing a payment plan for a designated water sewer utility account.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. Merrickin?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passes.
The next resolution is Resolution number R 2016-95, a resolution of the Borough Council approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the May 5th, 2016 bill list.
May, excuse me,
Yep,
that's
that's it.
94.
Go back.
Yeah.
Forward one more, on the back.
Resolution 2694.
94, oh, over there. So let's not do the bill list yet. Let's do 2016-94, a resolution of the Borough Council authorizing cancellation of property tax.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. Merrickin?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, now resolution number 2016-95, the resolution authorizing payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the May 5th, 2016.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. Merrickin?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passes.
The final resolution is resolution number 2016-96, a resolution of the Borough Council authorizing execution of a separation agreement with John Tarzi.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Herner?
Yes.
Mr. Merrickin?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Motion passes.
That brings us to our public comment section. If you would like to speak about any item, agenda or otherwise, please come forward, state your name, and address the chair.
Hi, John Canty, 564 Atlantic Avenue. I wanted to discuss the reality grade systems assessment demonstration program. And I see from the agenda that Shrewsbury opted back into the program. Now, we had originally, last year, the previous council had grave reservations about this program. And then we had two gentlemen come here from the tax board and kind of lay everybody's anxiety at rest by explaining the program and talking about it and whatever. And then there seemed to be a change in the council. These guys seemed to feel that maybe it was okay to stay in the program. Okay, so, and I see on May 2nd that Shrewsbury opted back in. Well, there's been something else that's happened since then. On May 6th, one of the gentlemen who came here to explain the program and to support the program, a Mr. Stewart, who was a member of the Monmouth County Tax Board, was forced to resign his position with the tax board. And the story about it is in the Asbury Park Press. It was over the weekend. And the reason he was forced to resign was it was determined he wasn't really a resident of Monmouth County. He had a home in Barnegat, which he declared was his primary residence in order to get a senior citizen's tax break in Barnegat. So he saved $1,200 and declared that to be his primary residence. Someone found that out and then notified Monmouth County saying this guy cannot be your on your tax board, he doesn't live in the county. So if anybody was swayed by this person's presentation, I'd like you to reconsider it because he doesn't seem to be a reliable source. He's here defending the program, and he himself is basically cheating on his taxes and trying to get illegal tax breaks in other towns. And this this program, the assessment demonstration program, from the very beginning, it's still under a criminal investigation. And I think that the town, we should opt out, we should stay as far away from it as possible. It was foisted on us, nobody wanted it to begin with. It was a county thing that seems to be really designed to promote work for this reality data system for a company. And I still recommend that you opt out. You still have time to do so.
Are there any facts that he gave us that evening on the operation itself that you know to be a lie or not? Because we're basing it on personalities, whoever he was.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I wasn't here. I wasn't here able to attend that meeting. I didn't hear everything he had to say. I just feel that when you, I think the phrase is, when you lay down with dogs, you catch fleas. And these people have been unethical from the very beginning. They're under an investigation. They could still be indicted for something.
But is it a true statement that if we stay with the old program, we still have to deal with the same people, which is how we deal with
Well,
the changes?
Wall Township is in a similar position, and they're actually going to propose an ordinance in Wall Township that says that they're in it for the period that they have to be in it, but the next go-round of proposals, they will not deal with this company anymore. They will not accept the
Wasn't the guy,
proposal.
didn't he
With
work
reality
for?
data systems.
Yeah, Wall Township.
That
was a
individual
different-
that worked for Wall Township and was connected to it, a little different than our situation. I mean, strictly concentrating on our situation.
Yes,
But John,
There's how many members on the board? And we're talking about one member.
yes.
And I don't know what that has to do with the program itself. The people that made it up, the people administrating it, may not be the best people. I don't know where the program's at.
Well.
Because we have to do some program.
Yes.
And the one we had wasn't good.
but I think,
Well, no.
John, what I've said several times that I agree with is if we're going to stay in this program, I agree with you. We should be, because we happen to be in a good spot with being in our last obligation year with this company to do the year. I believe we should bid out the last 2 years and we should stay away from this company.
That's
Yeah.
And the condition I would stay on this would be to stay away from reality data.
But
So
you're
if that's
referring
your
to
the
concern,
commission.
then I agree with that. I don't want to be with this company.
Yeah.
But
And I think
you're
that's-
referring to the commissioner that came here
Right.
representing the county, which is different than the assessor.
Yes, but he's,
But he
he's
said reality
promoting.
data a few times. That's
No.
why I was.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what.
Promoting their position.
But I mean,
And
if
he's not a
you,
reliable promoter.
in the Shrewsbury resolution, and it kind
Yeah.
of speaks to some of the points that I think Councilman Herman was making, that the changes that were made to the program, which are documented, the Freeze Act, the reduction of number of tax appeals, the ability of the tax assessor to modify individual assessments, all of those things were the things that eased our mind, not the person who was
Right.
presenting it. It was the facts of what they were doing to make changes to the program, to make it
Well, that's
as
fine.
good as you can. But I agree with Chris that if we can, if we have a way to get rid of that company,
From the reality data.
I think we will all be better
When
off.
we go to bed,
Very
hopefully
wary
someone
of-
else.
Well, let me ask this. Is there anybody in council that has an issue with us having a resolution on the agenda for the next meeting to opt out of the contract and finish our last obligation that we're not exercising the last 2 years of reality data and instruct the borough administrator to put together a bid packet for the remaining 2 years?
We don't even know if we can get it. We don't even know.
We don't
But
know.
yeah,
we don't
we don't know until we try.
We
We
have-
don't even, right.
If we
I'm just
try,
saying.
at least we did what we have to.
I
I'd like to see that happen for the next meeting, because we've been talking about it for 2 months now. Let's do something.
I agree, let's get it on the agenda.
Do we have exposure there? We do something
I
like that?
haven't.
No, it's,
I haven't-
our contract
I haven't
says that
reviewed the
after
contract.
3 years, we option year for the
Well,
last 2.
let's start
We
with
just don't
that.
option.
Gary, could you please review the contract and see if we are able to,
Mr. Delaney will send me a copy, I'll take a look at it.
excellent, let's start there.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
After 564 Atlantic Avenue, there were two things that were factually wrong that Mr. Stewart said that night, although he may not have been aware. One was he repeatedly said that he didn't understand where it was coming from, that the program represented tax reform, when in fact Matt Clark, who is the executive director of the Monmouth County Tax Board, had given numerous interviews to the Asbury Park Press, including video reporting, saying the program represents true tax reform. So he didn't even know that his own guy was using that as a talking point.
He can make it a point that he doesn't collect the taxes, meaning
I
we collect the
understand
taxes, he's just a procedure. And in that sense, he's
understand
right.
that, but he was factually wrong because his guy, that was the message the tax board was giving out, that it was true reform, and he repeatedly said that night, I don't understand
where this is coming from. The other thing is, someone asked about the program, where they'd come up with it, and he said it was in use in Somerset County. He was partially right in Somerset County, because the press then went and interviewed Somerset County Tax Board, and they said, well, it's different than Monmouth County, because in Monmouth County, it's being addressed as a mandatory program that everybody must be in it, whereas in Somerset, it's optional. Somerset County still does the assessments the old way, but if you personally want to opt in to their version of this thing, where you get done on a rolling basis every 5 years, you can. So it's, in Somerset, it's an either or, and I felt that what Stuart said that night was a little bit of a misnomer.
Does it function the same way though? They opt into it, but it works generally the same way as far as the 5-year program and?
I'll send you the link to the story in the press, because it sounded like it was a little bit different what they did. So I thought it was a little disingenuous when he said, well, this is what Somerset does, because it isn't really, so.
Thank you.
Hi. Nancy Cleary, 809 Central Avenue, Spring Lake Heights. To the left, and 12 up here. First, I want to say thank you to Janine for running the big program. It's a good thing. You're right, Chris. I've been with a brain tumor, cancer, and lost a child. So, it does. But anything else, anything we can do as part of this, I think it's so exciting that they went to all the trouble to make our town meeting. We should do it every month. Maybe we should do great.
It's amazing. I think it's phenomenal. I
It's
wasn't
awesome.
trying to detract from it or say either or. I just think we should lump it all together, because at this point, I'm hearing that C word an awful lot from way too many close people. I think it's
And this one was
right.
started in Red Bank, so maybe Spring Lake Heights can start something and get it going. But I'm really proud, and I'm really, given that we're out there with the light bulbs, and, it's a great thing. It's a really good thing, so thank you. And I always want to say thank you to the Mayor and Council for serving, because I know it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of aggravation. Poor Art Turner had listened to me spiel on many times.
Now you can duck.
Yeah, great. But at least I call you at home so you can sit and,
Sure.
do that. I'm here to ask for your help. There's a lot of things that lately have really bothered me as a resident of Spring Lake Heights. I have lived here all my life. And there's a lot of things that have happened and are happening that I think that to keep a sense of community here, to keep a sense of heritage here, that as a community we need to get together and fix it. The first thing being that last year in the Environmental Commission, we were given a presentation, and I have brought it with me, and we all had our notes the other night at the Environmental Commission meeting, called the 2015 Tree Preservation Program at O'Leary Park. It was more like the gutting of O'Leary Park. People are calling it the Star Wars Park, the Dr. Seuss Park, the Tropical Palm Tree Park, because if the tree wasn't cut down, it was lived 30 feet high, 5 feet high. And nothing is going to grow there. The tree is going to grow up. They're never going to grow out. I understand, and so did everyone else on the Environmental Commission, the importance of dead, diseased, and dying. I have the maps. There's not half of what was said to be taken down, more than half are gone. That to me is so disheartening. Last year we were bringing kids over there and doing tours of the park and watching the baby owls be fed at night. There are no owls. The nest is gone. There's no squirrels. There's no trees. There's no birds. There's nothing. It's really embarrassing, and I am greatly saddened. I get that we need to move forward and come up with a plan, and I came to the council office and did a whole presentation, and we talked about everything, and how we were going to reforest, and how we were going to getting rid of all the poison ivy, which was so important, so we can rebuild. And then we go through with this project that was greatly outside of the scope of what we were told. And nary a tree was planted, even though I came in with bids and contractors and proposals. And the environmental commission was on board. And I told Art, I'm like, yay, you brought in some trees, thank God. Something has to move forward. You can't go. I felt like I was so burned. Me, personally. Forget the commission, forget what I came here and said last summer, and we all nodded our heads and went, yeah, great, on fire, and then it all backfired, you know. Freedom Park, the planter came down. Who asked anybody in this town, historically, where did the planter come from and what part of Freedom Park was it that Jordy Felinas did it, and the whole town was there when we dedicated that Freedom Park as part of his Eagle Scout project. Who was asked? Nobody was asked. The signs, the new signs at Alair Road Park, Ocean Road Park, we screwed up. Ocean Road Park isn't even called Ocean, it's the Bicentennial Park. We bought it in the bicentennial year. It was a big deal then, and it was always the Bicentennial Park. We took the sign down. Who asked the beautification committee? I asked Eileen, I asked Captain Hahn. Nobody came. Nobody asked anybody. Historically, what is the value of the direction that we're going? Where are the citizens groups? And I'm not talking about the council, because I don't believe the council is involved. I believe that the borough process is going forward, and the people who live here that make this community what we are not having a say in our public property. That's the people's property, not our property.
What is the planter that you referenced before? I'm not familiar.
The planter that was at Alair Road, the big planter with the clock in it and the flowers, that whole corner.
Was next to that one, the planter with a train that was around. It originally had a flagpole, and they built Freedom Park and incorporated it into what existed there.
The clock
It's
in
a
there.
church, impressive.
It was a big part of many people's, it's built as, Freedom Park was part of, a veterans memorial of sorts. And when we dedicated that, I don't remember, all street lamps, 71 was closed down. It was huge. But it's an important part, and if we're gonna go and start dismantling the history of this town and what makes this town, like the names of our parks, and a Freedom Park, and we need citizens groups that are gonna be asked to sit on a committee. At the very least, was anyone on this council asked, should the planner come down? Was
I have
anybody,
no idea who came in.
was anybody on the council asked if we could change the name of the Bicentennial Park to Ocean Road Park? And now the sign says Ocean Road Park, 1108 Ocean Road. Wow. Really? When I drove, I couldn't believe it. I thought, we have a beautification committee. We have so many citizens.
Who put the sign up?
We did.
Well, you didn't.
No, but the town did.
Yeah.
Right, but I think,
but who in the town did?
the town, I think, should be accountable to the mayor and council. But most importantly, to the mayor and council. Look, every project, I don't care what it is, if we're gonna cut down a tree that's outside the scope, if we're gonna put up a sign, you guys, if you are our voters, if you are who we elect to say yay or nay, or you know what, let's get a committee together and let them do it. I know Art's rolling his eyes, but I can't see. Going like this, holy crap, Nancy Claire, and everything done.
I'm kind
get
of
it.
frustrated because it's attuned to what Art had said at the last meeting that I agree with, and here we are again with, we have no list of stuff that we should stay on top of. As far as the Alair Road Park goes, I remember those presentations. I was on board with the presentations. We spent many a time walking over there. I saw work going on. I assumed it was within the scope. We talked about putting a well over there to stop paying for utility water to go over there to water the grass. All these things that I assumed were going. We talked about how we had stuff budgeted. We had numbers there. It was going to happen in the spring, and spring is here, and I
It's
don't know. I mean,
It's so sick.
I
And
feel
I know
like
you were
we
there.
pay people to do jobs, and I feel like when they tell me stuff is getting done, I shouldn't have to watch them to make sure it gets done. I should be able to take everybody's word of, I'm on it, and that should be the last I think about it. But that doesn't seem to be the way things happen here.
I'm gonna stick my neck out. I'm gonna say something, and I'm sure a lot of people aren't gonna like it. Go back about 2 years ago, I started talking about the trees at Railroad Park to people that work here in this borough. And I, like you, Nancy, have been raised in this town, and that park meant a lot to me, as it does to a lot of people. And Butch was still the mayor at the time, and he was adamant. He wanted the trees planted. He wanted nothing to be done to, disorient it in any way, shape, or form. But because there was so much lack of time that went on, and so many times that I raised this question and got ignored, it wasn't until this past December when I insisted that an invoice be made out before the end of the year to start replanting some trees. And one of the big concerns was the property that's right behind one of our residents' houses, who had to bear for the past 3 years all the lights from the Little League field coming into their backyard and into their house and so on and so forth. And nobody wants to see anything happen to the Little League. That's not the issue. We just wanted trees. We wanted trees. Let's get trees. 2 weeks ago, I went over there on my own, and I walked the entire property. At the time, our superintendent of the DPW was there with one of his supervisors. And I went over and I thanked him for planting the trees. And I said to him, it's nice to see that we're moving in the right direction. But many of the people that are concerned about these trees, the trees that were planted, the people are going to be dead before these trees grow high enough to facilitate what they're supposed to do. We need to plant trees that are going to grow 2 or 3 feet every year so that we can actually see something happen. White pines are not going to grow like that.
That's
And
what's
as a-
there, Sarah. With all due respect, that's exactly what's there. And the bigger the trees are, the harder they are to handle. We bought 40 trees for half of what Melchion's buffer was, and planted them all in a couple of days with public works
Yeah, but you
employees.
don't- but
And I'm saying they will grow a foot or two. That is a species that was the growth. If you're telling me to reforest Alero Park Grove, it's white pines. That's what they are.
Well, here, let me finish. So I then said, how are these going to get watered? Because when I walked the area, there is some of those trees that are turning brown. Now, one of the things that was supposed to happen before we put trees in there was a well. And Mr. Campion was adamant when he was on utility about a well. He wanted a well in there. And that was one of the things that we were supposed to go forward and work on. We don't have a well. We have no way to water the trees.
But if you had a well, I don't want you,
Well, wait a
we didn't
minute.
talk, because if you had a well, you still have to get the water to the trees,
Well, wait a
which is
minute.
on the other side of the property, which
Let
is
me
not doable.
finish. So I said to the superintendent, I said, where are we gonna go with this? Because how are we gonna keep all this foliage alive? We have spent X amount of dollars on 2 plantings, one for around the perimeter, one behind this resident's house, which, I gotta be honest, I think it's ridiculous, because there was not enough planting that was done. We're so concerned about political maneuvering and who's doing what and when. And I will sit here and tell you that this subject has been something I have discussed for 2 years at least, if not longer. And I'm like you, I am thoroughly so upset at the outcome of this and the situation over there that it disgusts me. And the thing that bothers me is that a lot of people that are dealing with this issue do not have it here in their heart about Spring Lake Heights, and they don't care. If I offend anybody, I'm sorry, but to me, that's the issue. And if they don't care, and they're the ones that are responsible for the invoices, responsible for planting the trees, responsible for purchasing stuff, and they don't care, we're never going to get off dead center. And I agree with you. I think that the townspeople need to speak up, and they need to say on a unified effort exactly what they want to see in this town, because it's going off the tilt.
Well, I think part of the problem here is that there has not been, there's been a lot of people that have spoken up on this issue, and it's come from more than one, I mean, we're hearing 1, 2 opinions just up here, 3, 4, there's a lot of different inputs that are being received. I mean, and what we, I think, need to do, our job is to take those inputs and have a common plan. And so far, all those inputs have kind of just been thrown out there. A lot of people have said, why hasn't something happened? Something happened.
Well, actually,
But
there has been things that have
here,
happened.
because what you're talking about getting a group together for consensus. We did that last year. We had a plan.
I don't
Everybody agreed
think
on
it was ever consensus. I sat up here for 5 different plans. I'm just saying that I don't think there has
Then why
ever
don't we
been
move forward with
consensus
that
on
plan?
this issue.
Well,
There are some strong opinions, but they're not all the same strong opinions.
And
I'm not saying that we
fairness,
couldn't have done a better job.
we have.
But I am
forward.
saying that there's not just one opinion here that is a clear solution. There just isn't.
I must be missing something, because I went to several environmental meetings last year, and they came here and presented stuff, and we agreed with what they had, they agreed with what we said,
And
we
we had
had
a
a
plan.
consensus, we had a plan, we had drawings passed out to us, we had a tree guy here talk to us, we had a replanting stuff, we all agreed in consensus.
And we
Who
even
changed
have-
it?
We even have a council person that sits on the environmental commission, and he even said,
What
what
is the
happened to
point
the
of us
plan?
agreeing as a group and coming to consensus if just one of us can derail it with his own opinion?
I know of no plan that was funded. And when you have a plan that's set on and you say, this is it, and we all voted on it, where's the money? Where's
In
the
the open
funding?
space, we talked about that.
No, there's no plan saying we're gonna buy 500 white pine trees or whatever. What are we planning
The
there?
plan shows where the trees go and what they are.
We had it.
Listen,
There's a plan.
Yeah, but we didn't have.
and what you're seeing in Back Neck Young is what's on that plan.
no, it's not.
No, it's
It's very similar to what's on
No,
that
it's
plan.
They're not
not
the same.
similar. It's
Because that was
not
a
anywhere
purchase.
It's not
near
even
First
near
of
it,
all,
Art.
first of all,
That wasn't near.
I walked into this 3 months ago
I know, and I
With
appreciate
nothing
doing something.
and bought
Nothing was getting done.
40 white pines in one whole border immediately. Moved over to the Fletcher property, took care of a number of issues, including tables and benches and fences and trees immediately, getting prices on the parking lot. We've done this in 3 months.
Yeah, but the problem.
Well, but
There's
just,
already a plan.
Just to
well,
clarify, I'm not coming after you, like, I appreciate all you've done, I'm more concerned about why you had to do that. If we had a plan and it was here, why did
I
we
don't-
ask you, why did you have to come in and breathe fire into
I
it?
don't even know who was here before me. I don't know, all I do is I see it the way I see it, when I came in, I take care of it. With what funds I have and what to clear, because I still have people who want to put do sporting fields in there. And they're talking to me like you're talking now, and say, oh yeah, we're gonna put athletic
So
fields.
we don't do that.
Well,
That's
I
why
don't
we
necessarily
get-
know that either, but I'm just telling you, when I see a plan, if a plan was in place, it would say that we're gonna reforest it. Are we gonna bring it back to the way it was when we were kids?
Well, we
Is
had
it
a
1,000
plan,
white pine trees, is that
but
where
we
you're
were
going?
instructed by administration to start on the buffer, that's where we had to work first.
Well,
I'm gonna make copies of this for you, the minutes, the presentation, the reforestation program that never went anywhere. I'm not doing it so we fight about it. I love to fight with Art. I can fight with him at the house, come home at the end of the day, we walk away friends, because we can have different opinions. And that's just why we need to hold everybody that works for this town accountable to the mayor council and the people that live here. It is our town, and we need to take it back. And I'd rather fight with you than have nothing get done. And let's put the pines in, and if we decide to move them, maybe we'll put 2 wells in. Maybe we'll use potable water and waste it. Who cares? But when 2 weeks ago, when those trees were dying before all the rain, I knew who to call. Our trees are dying over in Old Road Park. And he was on it the next day because Joe was glad.
And Joe has a tanker, with a tank of water, you bring in and do it, because even if you have a well, that's a good thing for building and Little League and sprinklers. If that doesn't satisfy getting water to the trees on the perimeter, you have to run hoses over to it. And whether I get it from a hydrant, from a regular drinking water, or that, doesn't matter. It still has to be water, they're new trees.
Right.
They have to be
So we
nurtured.
need to
We
come
got
up
lucky.
with a plan.
But I
But
think
why
that-
don't we have, why aren't we moving forward? And from here on, I think we need you, and we need citizens.
Well, first of all,
To have a committee,
Yeah.
to work on it. We have the environmental commission and we're done, like, we're done. The beautification committee was not recognized, they're not done. So maybe we need another committee, I don't know. But the problem is, the people that live here, we need you.
well, I think one of the misconceptions is, I think that people are making decisions that don't come before this council. And I think that when anything is done in this town, it is supposed to be at the approval of this council. And that's not happening. Everybody seems to think that they can just go out and spend here and spend there, and make this decision or make that decision, and that's not the way that this town has always been run.
The community center is next, and I think every decision on that community center should be community-based by the citizens groups here. We use that community center, it's our community center. If we're gonna make changes, why can't we have a meeting and discuss all the proposed changes to the community center?
Correct.
Well, one of the reasons, a lot of people don't like to be told no. And the two people, the experience is, we should be able to voice it, and like you said, you should be able to discuss it and
Right,
disagree and walk out of here
right.
without taking it personally, but at Spring Lake Heights, my experience has been, that isn't often the case.
But if everybody's invited to an open meeting, and we need to have plans and projects going on, available to the public to look at any time. Anybody should be able to, it's
We need to be
town
responsible
dollars.
for our actions. Take our department seriously and take responsibility for what we do.
Well,
But there's
so
also
far-
a deeper issue on that we haven't really hit on. I think you touched on it with, and you said the same thing before about having an ongoing plans that we can keep track of and have updates in
New
every meeting.
business, old business,
have
projects,
to,
look at this picture, that picture, let's vote on
But
it.
we also every year shuffle 2 seats up here. So every year 2 new people come up here. I know when I came on, everybody here on the first term, Robert, what transition did you get to utility coming on? Nothing. What'd you get coming on to parks? So we're here beating up on things that happened that didn't go that way, and nobody gave you anything. Nothing. There was no update, there was no transition, there was nothing that came from either a file that we keep here of information.
I took the initiative to come
But we need
in,
a transition.
but I
We need
came to
something
talk to the
say.
administrator and find out what was in transition, what were the POs written, what was agreed upon, what's the plans. I was given to him, and I said, well, this is good, that isn't good, I'm gonna go and got my own plan. Until we do it, not wanting to deal with that big section of Valero Park where the pine trees were, because I'm not clear on what the consensus is that, or any plan that laid out. It's easy to say, oh, we want to put trees in it. What trees?
There's drawings.
Right.
How many? But not for that big section of Valero Park. There's no drawings naming 500,
Right, there is not, no. 'cause
150 junipers,
We were directed, yes.
nothing like that. That's a
We put
plan.
voter around, and. you
That's a
know,
plan.
We need to deal with poor Peg Nocioni. I mean.
Oh, she's fine. Oh, with the additional trees? Those
Oh,
trees.
yeah. It's horrible there.
Well,
Have you been
I'll
there
go over
and
by the plan and,
Oh.
well, you can't plant 40-foot tall trees.
I agree with you.
It costs you $10,000 a piece.
Can't we
This
make
is
them
not
shield the
real
lights?
reality.
Yeah, we should, we should.
Can we make them shield
And
the
the
lights?
sound,
Well,
that's
Lights
like,
are
that's
sticking
something
tall,
that was
60
supposed to
tall.
Yeah.
That's something that was agreed that we would do, and it hasn't been done.
She sat here time and time again, and we promised her.
Yeah.
Promised her
Look,
that something would be done.
I don't know what you can do when the lights are 60, 70 feet tall.
Maybe we can lower the lights.
You can't, because it gets in the head, you get sued for $1 million, that's why. They're there for a reason, to give optimal, visual effect on the field, lighting.
I just discovered recently, Nancy, because we've got a joint now, Little League, we're in with Spring Lake and Cedar. And I just found out from Spring Lake that they don't have lights on their field.
So they're gonna be playing here.
So they play until 8 o'clock at night, that's the end of it. The people that live around that field, which is not as congested as our field, they don't have to deal with the lights. We have somebody over on Ocean Road, and when those lights are on past 9 o'clock, zippity-doo-dah, the phone rings, get those lights off. People complain over here at Alaire, they're ignored.
What time is the late night noise ordinance in our town? Is it 10 o'clock or 8
The
o'clock?
parks close at 9. The
Supposed to
lights
close-
stay on at
they're supposed to
9:30.
close
No, you
at
can't do anything
We had
before
this
8 o'clock
discussion
in the
at the
morning,
last
but
meeting.
how?
And the lights at Ocean Road are automatic,
They're on that
the
side.
bicentennial.
And that's what
And
we
I mean,
do.
you just stated that people complain and they're ignored. I mean, do you have documentation of that? I mean, to make a statement like that, I really would like to approve.
Absolutely, they're ignored. Absolutely, they're ignored, because the lights are on until 11 and 12 o'clock at night.
Well, they shouldn't, and a police, and a call to the police department should come right in there and tell them to shut them off.
And what also
And
happens is
document.
that field on Lair Road is sublet to other organizations. There's men's games that are held there at night.
Our rec sponsors a men's league, an older men's league of softball. That's the only one I know, do you?
And that's like fall, winter, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fall, winter, I don't know.
But, you
anything about
know,
it, but
there's no reason why those lights should be on past 9 o'clock. If we're,
Well,
if
can't we
we're,
write an ordinance that says they can't
We
be
already
on
have,
after
we
We already
9?
have one.
that says that they go off at 9 o'clock and they have to 9:30 to sort of vacate.
See, that's the,
Because we, let people leave the park because
that's
there's not
the
enough
problem.
The
lights.
lights have been there for
in the
20
park.
years.
We
Right.
don't adhere
But
to
the
what we're
trees were there
supposed
for
to
20
do.
years.
But they fell down. But
But-
God sent us Sandy and knocked all the trees down. I
But,
mean, I don't know what we can do about that. We do the best we can by
Art.
reforesting. And stick, all those trees started out this
okay,
big.
but I'm telling you, when you see the plan that we were given,
Oh,
that
I-
would start and happen, it's not what happened at all.
Yeah, well, and that's a different thing. So I need to get into
I-
nuts and bolts. When you want to reinforce and say, what do you want there specific?
That's
You
what
know what I mean,
that's
Nance?
what I'm asking the council for, is so that we can move forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we need to be.
And then we bring it to the council, and we have an open meeting, and invite the public, and say, here's the direction we want to go, who's on board?
And right now, the superintendent of public works planting grass in the open area, and I put the pines in the perimeter. I plan to put them on the north side as well, to act as a buffer with the apartments and by the parking lot there. So, and then that doesn't hurt any other planning you may have, but it's something we could do right away. And I said to him, look, he went through all the effort to put grass there. I don't know, I grew up with those pines too, played Little League there. And I don't know that we can't have pine trees and a grass area too. Let's let it develop, take a look at it, and if it doesn't work, then we can always say, guess what, we're planting trees in this area. Nothing stops us from going forward
Right.
until we devise a real plan,
Right.
not a
And we need-
conceptual.
We need to start
I
working
think
on
what,
that.
so to act on the plans that we have, or to move forward from where we are, though, we need to do, as a council, there needs to be spending authorized, because right now,
Right.
like, there's a plan on paper of how to, especially move
I need a
forward
specific plan.
the perimeter. We need a specific plan and a cost.
And then a
we
funding,
need to
because you
approve
fund
it.
first in municipal government, right? That's the
So,
rule.
and I mean,
Well, we like to spend.
we can talk about
Yeah,
that.
well,
Yeah.
Because I think
Hold
what we
on,
need,
Council.
and I think you hit the point, Greg, at the end, is that what we need to be talking about is what do we need to do moving forward? I mean,
What are we gonna do with that?
Exactly.
past is past, we can't, like, you can't put up a tree that we cut down, so.
Right, right.
What can we do
And I
going
don't-
forward to make the park the best place for everyone, right?
Right,
And
and
I
I
think that's
know-
where you're coming from.
Right, it's a hot topic, and you look, but it needs to be talked about, but I think what we really need to focus on is take the town and say it's our town. What's the next project, what's coming up in the next week that we don't know about?
What we can do is make sure that the environmental commission has the plans in the office here. We
And
develop-
that's true, but I'm not just talking about the park,
Yeah,
Robert,
no.
I'm talking about everything.
Right.
And that's what happens when we've just already changed the name of the park that was bought in 1976.
Yeah, I would have to say that if
I
anybody had
decided-
asked me what the name of the park was.
I never would've caught that.
I
It
would
was,
say
it's been, that
Ocean Park,
sign's
but
been there
that's-
since 1970.
It's probably on that
Bicentennial.
tombstone. so
Green
maybe
ink.
it's there.
Yeah.
It was on the brown sign with the gold writing.
Bicentennial Park was on that wood sign?
Yes. See? The half timers,
I don't know.
you lose it all yet.
You know, man,
Steve.
in Easter time, they had the Easter egg hunt down there. One of the trees fell.
I know, Jim, we're not opposed to dead, dying, and disease.
I know.
They told us 50 trees would take down, 300 came down. So
Well, we
it's-
put a
we were
guy in
given
there.
a plan, and it was totally disregarded. I have no problem with it being safe.
I understood we put a man in there, a tree expert, and they identified bad trees, and we took them down.
We took out 4 more than we identified, and I called them and asked them, did you tell them to limb up every tree so that now we're growing palm trees in Spring Lake Heights? And he said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Those trees will never grow back. They will only grow up. So I don't know who's running the show here, but it's not us. It's not us. And I think that is something. I will come every meeting and listen and help you because it's important that we move forward together. I know we're going to fight a lot, but fighting, you get something done at the end of that. You know, you come to a consensus. Another hot topic is and it's so simple, is we need to put a sign up at the recycling center that says, Spring Lake Heights ID must be presented and have a penalty. Because I run into everybody I know from that Spring Lake Heights,
And contractors too.
contractors, we just had the incident with the concrete there. And you know what people say, that they like it? It's easy. Just call in, it's really easy. But what are we spending what did I see for dumpsters in the budget? $150,000 a year? Let's just can't we just have, like every other town has, borough ID required, I will get you Steve Jolly that works there and Joe May are both really supportive of, oh, Nancy, if you go and get this approved, Steve feels that he is not empowered. You know, he says to people when he recognizes them from out of town, you don't live here, and they go, yeah. And he's like, well, you're not supposed to be here, but he has no power to say, go away. New sign, just like Wall, Manasquan, Spring Lake, Delmar. Borough resident use only, violators will be prosecuted, being a $100 fine, second offense is $50, blah, blah, blah. Actually, that's the highest fine in the state of New Jersey, you could go to $10,000 if they get caught dumping there, $10,000 fine.
We could use that money, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could, we just need a cat to catch them on their way up the street. So I think that, I would like, and I want to make sure that we don't forget this. If you want me to give you samples of other towns where they have ordinances, I can certainly, get them down to Janine, she can get them in, get them to all of you.
But we need to make sure that it's manned all the time, because it's not.
Well, I think that if that is
It never has
something
been.
we can strive for, that would be awesome. But even if we had a sign and it said borough residents only, ID required.
And then
Violators
whatever
will be
somebody is there.
prosecuted. Right, if they use it at their own risk and
And
they're
a fake
caught.
camera, good idea.
Well, there's cameras already
Well, let's
there.
not say that publicly, and put that.
No, there are working cameras.
We need to talk about that in executive session.
No, Nancy, there are
Everybody
working
here
cameras.
lives in Spring Lake.
They're
Oh,
there.
good, but that's awesome, but that's great, but you see what I'm saying though? Even if we have the sign and we empower the time it is, I mean, look, we want to work toward having somebody there. I think it's great when Steve's there and he's helping people unload and move on, and he's a great personality to be there too. You know, he's most
The
helpful.
council has never wanted to fund that from the beginning.
The only way you can stop that is have somebody there all the time.
But I think it's getting to the point that it's probably almost cheaper to have somebody there than to have other towns.
Well, now there's no money in recycling, and
Yeah.
now it's starting to cost us.
That's what I'm saying.
Before, give us recycling, we're
Yeah,
selling.
we don't care, but now that it's costing us money, it's probably almost cost effective to have somebody there manning it to make sure that it's only our town that's dumping as opposed to taking other towns to jump.
Well, the other option is to use technology. I don't know what we have for,
But either
what
way.
it would cost to have somebody out there full-time, but if you were to lock it down, like say, I don't know if anybody's ever driven into Fairway Muse, they got the scanner, you put the sticker on the side of the car, it reads the scanner, it opens the gate and lets you in. We could do something similar, so give a sticker to each resident, 2 stickers to each resident, price it up, see what it costs, and then probably more effective for the longer term than paying full-time salary for the future forever.
I mean, it's all, that's a great idea. I mean, that's why I'm bringing it up, because we need to move, we're the only town left that you can just drive into it.
Probably everybody comes here.
And that's why.
That's
it's-
why everybody comes, that's right.
We've always been the only town.
Yeah,
Nancy,
well,
what was your thing about the community center? What did you want to see about the community center?
Well, because the community center is up for some grant money and some restorations,
Right.
and there's a lot of talk out there on who's in charge of that. Who's in charge of the community center? Who's in charge of the project? Who's seen the plans? What money are we spending? Who's approved it? What color is the floor? What color is the bathroom? You know, it's important. at
We're
the
waiting
end
on
of
the
day.
architect, well, when the architect comes back with the plan, it'll be able to be reviewed and talked about. It
Good.
starts with the architect.
That's
It's the
good.
same architect that was there originally, Paul Damiano. So nothing grandiose has changed from the beginning, from when I remember from the beginning. So some things are changing, depending on the money, depending on what his plan is.
I've heard all kinds of rumors. I've heard we're gonna build over the playground, I've heard we're putting a second story on, I've heard all kinds of rumors. It's
Well,
not
and
true.
again, the beautification committee has not been brought in onto that, and
Well, they would-
they've worked for many, many, many years. Just please, come on, they've done a great
Oh,
job.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, but not, yeah, but that later on, but right now it's just a structure. What are you gonna do with the structure, build a room here, whatever? When it comes to,
But
you know,
even when it comes to things
decorating
like storage units and things like that, the people that live here should have a say in that. I don't want to be storing people's stuff from out of town.
well, I'm
Sorry.
sure
Our
that
library, that's it.
when they come with the architect's plans, we're gonna have
Oh, yeah.
we'll have a hearing on it. And then we'll talk, yeah, of course.
Right. Well, I'm just making sure, because that's what happened in Alergo Park too. And that's all what happened, okay? We did this.
But see,
I'm
there
on
again,
the
all
watch.
of that.
I'm on the watch.
but see, there
Thank
again, I
God.
think that's kind of putting the cart before the horse, because the renovations of the community center should, in my opinion, be discussed with us, in case we have any input, we have any people that have
Well,
any
you're
input.
saying that, but you're bringing it to the council.
No, but they're already at the architect. We should be saying to the architect before he starts, we would like to see this, we would like to see
Yeah,
that.
but these plans are the
we'd like to
same ones
see
that have been sitting in there for 10 years. It's essentially the same plan.
So they're free.
So then why?
They've been sitting there, really, they're just altered, more detailed plans of the original concept that's been there from the beginning. We went to,
But if we had plans, why do we have to redo them at additional cost?
no, you have to bring up building plans now to get an estimate. There were conceptual plans, you go get a CDGB. And anytime you come to Borough Hall and ask to see the plans, they've been here for 10 years. I used to have them in my office at the Public Works Yard, next to my desk for 10 years,
I
15
know that,
years.
yeah, I've had them on my desk up here on the dais 2 or 3
Yeah,
times.
I mean,
Yeah, so we can make changes though, once it's presented to the council,
to do
everybody can
that's what a hearing's
input,
for.
have a public meeting.
Which will happen before it goes out to
we'll-
construction bid. We'll get the
Yeah.
drawings back, and before we adopt them and push it to actual construction bids, we will review everything here and get revised
We
drawings.
may have to cut things, who knows wherever the numbers come up, well, who knows?
No, that's great, and that's what I'm asking for.
There's not a lot of changes going on inside the building unless we have the ADA requirements in the bathrooms, and that just has to be done, and that's that. But in the back, it's just an addition on. It's really it's not a big thing, it just adds another room, redoes the kitchen, probably do the electrical, add a generator, because Sandy, we know how important that building
The
was.
floor that's,
The floor rent, the repair, I don't even know if that'll be part of this, depending on the money coming in, but, I would see my vote would be for keeping it the same as we can, because I grew up here too, I don't want the stage ripped that way, I don't want the wood floors gone, I want it to look like it is, only safe and brought up to the new standards. An addition.
So, but that's my point kind of, is if we got nothing to hide, we got nothing to hide. Bring it out in public, invite the public, have committees.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, something sort of lacking in Spring Lake Heights, which I will volunteer for, and I'll probably kill myself when I go on with my business, but it's, I want to do an e-newsletter for Spring Lake Heights. I'll do it for free. You guys give me what you want, but I know I get the Manasquan one, Cedar one, Spring Lake one.
We used to do a newsletter for years,
So,
to every resident.
if we do need one,
Right.
it's free, it goes out for free. Now, having said that, I'll give you, for instance, today, Cedar sent an update because they have construction going on. Last week, the Cedar's regular one, it gives them the pickup schedules for their recycling, large trash, don't put it out this day, don't forget, no more than 12 hours before, don't forget to take it in by 6. They also are now reminding the residents about, don't put the mulch, you can't put mulch in the road. I don't know why Spring Lake Heights would think you can do that, but they put it in writing to them. Do not put the mulch in the road, it's illegal, don't do that, you can get a ticket. Don't stop blowing your grass in the road, it's illegal. They remind them, they constantly put it in front of them, what's going on. I know, because then you guys will have to clean it up until it works, right?
Gee,
But-
if you drop in the road, get it out of there.
But no matter what committee it is, or what thing is going on in town, like we could promote the pink,
Put rec stuff there, there's a lot of
Rec
things.
stuff.
Concerts, reports from committees,
I did it
maybe
for
if we
the-
have something we have to, that's what the newsletter is.
For the high school, for 4 years, actually 6 years, through constant contact, I'm familiar with the programming. I have to find out, we would probably sign up and get like the first month free. We pay, I think, $23 a month for between 500 and 1,000 contacts. It was really reasonable. And it goes up from there. So of course, we're going to start with pretty much putting on the website, which we sort of need to update our website too.
We do.
Oh, boy,
Wholeheartedly.
holy moly. But we put it on the website, who wants to sign up, we put out a sign-up sheet. I'll write it, I'll put it together if you just feed the information. If the environmental commission would put in, you would put, it's a great tool and it keeps people involved in their town. And you might say, no, we don't want her to trees in there. But thank you for listening. Call, I'm on the environmental commission, planning board, I will serve, and, I'm happy to work with anybody to keep our town the great place it is. So thank you for.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Jack Kirby, 56 North Land. Gail Nolan unfortunately had to leave, but she asked me to ask the council this. She said, ask where the 1100 street number came from on Robertson Park, because her house, the house to the immediate east of the park is 1,000. Her house is 1,022, and the park is in the middle, and it's 1,100. So it's got a higher number than the two on either side of
Was
it.
that the number for Fletcher property originally?
No,
No,
Fletcher, I think was
Fletcher.
1,200.
1,200?
Yeah,
I don't know.
so that was just what she asked me to make you aware of.
All the title searches you've been doing lately, Gary?
Yeah,
Are you gonna say anything?
No, I don't think so.
It's a nice even number.
Yeah. For all the mail that they get. All right, does anybody else have anything they would like to say? Seeing no hands, can somebody make a motion to close?
I'll
the
make
public
that
comment?
motion
I'll
for
second it.
adjournment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to adjourn? That is last, I think
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.